Welcome to the How to Write a Book podcast, the show that helps you plan, write, and publish your book, even if you're a beginner or just feel like one. Now, for your host, she's written over a dozen books and helps others bring their books to life. Here she is, Maciel.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the How to Write a Book podcast. Welcome, dear writer. You are a writer and your story deserves to be told. Okay, so we are taking just a semi-break from the NaNoWriMo episodes. We're actually not taking a break, but I wanted to add this podcast episode in here because I am just so excited for where the current dictation process has been going. And I know that there are not a lot of resources out there that cover dictation. So I just wanted to share this with you guys because I'm so excited. You can tell I'm excited. And also because the numbering for my episodes was totally off. It's bugging me. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and add another episode. I've been wanting to talk about this. I feel like I should share this, and it will also even out the numbers of my podcast episodes because literally the last episode that we are publishing is 45, but it says at NaNoWriMo day 6. Now, wouldn't it just make more sense if it was NaNoWriMo day 5, right? So perhaps that's a little bit of my OCD rising. Get back down, OCD. Get back down. All right. And then, so therefore, I'm like, let's change this. So that's the second reason why I'm also putting this out there. But I'm so excited about this topic because, as you guys know, I'm a fan of a couple of different writing methods. So we have so many writing methods out there: plotting, pantsing, plansting, dictation, by hand, by computer. There's all these different methods that you can write a book. And as we say here at the How to Write a Book podcast, there's no right way to write a book, right? It's how your muse speaks to you. Now, one of the things that I have been diving into this year and has been totally game-changing is really listening to my muse. And it is something that has been really hard for me to develop a relationship with because there's so much out there when you Google search or what other authors do, and it can feel very overwhelming. You might think I'm not doing this book right because, this author over here is doing it this way and that author over there is doing it that way. So therefore, I must be doing it wrong. So this has been a culmination of my process, and also deadlines and pressure have somehow made this happy coincidence. And I'm really excited that I'm developing a relationship with my muse. And that really is what it is. You have a relationship with your muse, with your creative voice, with those words inside of you that long to be told. Now, my creative muse and I actually didn't know that I was in a relationship with her. I thought that I was her owner, essentially, almost like a pet to an owner. I would walk her whenever she needs walking, and she doesn't have much capability other than peeing on the fire hydrant, right? And I love dogs. So I have love and respect, but I didn't really see this as a relationship. And then recently, as I've been coaching more clients, actually, I've come across this new train of thought. And the cool thing about learning and teaching other people is that you start to realize that things evolve. And as you help others, you will continue to evolve. So I am just so thankful. Big shout out to my beta clients who are not only just sticking with me here, and they are amazing and so kind, and just they're really inspirational to me, but also because they're helping me evolve as well. So one of the things that I have definitely come across, and that feels just like a solid, beautiful inspiration, is the muse. Now, you have a relationship with your muse, and she's important to where you're going with your book. You need to listen to her or him or they. You need to listen to your muse. And your muse is different from everybody else's muse. Your muse talks to you in your way. Now, for a lot of people, you might be like, well, that sounds very really wavy, hippie 60s things. But I actually, based on science that has been conquering the state of flow with creativity, it's a real thing. And maybe not real in the sense of a tangible thing, but there's a part of your brain that seeks this creativity, and it knows how to do it. It's a very intelligent part of your brain. And it knows exactly where it's going. But the reason that we get stuck is because our critical voice, that voice that tries to stop us from lighting things on fire, and also trying to run away from lions, that just stops the muse in its tracks because it's afraid. So, long-winded answer to this whole dictation process, I have a new way to tackle dictation. This new process has come about through trial, error, as you guys know, years of practice, but in addition to that, the pressure of a deadline. So I'll tell you what happened. So I had an opportunity to apply for a program, and it was actually really funny. So I contacted the committee. I said, I'm really interested in this program. I thought it'd be really fun. I'm so excited. They said, yeah, sure. We'd love to interview you, but the deadline's right around the corner and we need you to turn in a personal essay in 3 days. And it has to be, I think it was like 5,000 words, something like that. It wasn't too long, so that's good. But I thought, oh my gosh, 3 days? How do I like condense myself in 3 days? I have to finish this application. I have to do this. This is, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna do this. So, my muse kicked in, and also my practice of dictation told me you need to dictate your essay because you don't have time to sit down and type, because I'm actually a pretty efficient typer, but I know that if I can type 47 words per minute, which I've done on typing tests, versus 157 words per minute when I'm dictating, there's a clear difference by 100 words, you guys, right? So I said, okay, I have to do this. So here's my dictation process. And if you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out. I know this is a very, we're on surface level, but it's so exciting. I just want to share it with you. So what I did was I first word vomited. I got my dictation device and I went outside and I said, I am going to talk for the next 30, 40 minutes. I believe that's approximately 5,000 words. Now I know that that's not, but I did that after I was trying to record myself, and then I figured out my word count, but I was such in a rush that I just went for it. So I did that, and I had a sloppy mess of words. But then I said, okay, I'm going to look at this mess of words. Now, what is it telling me? What's sticking out to me? I highlighted certain sections that I resonated with, that stood out to me, and then I took those out, I put them in a new Word document, and I kind of put them into an order. The great thing is that my brain was free. I had already done so much of this word vomiting, like essentially just being so excited that I just told myself everything that I could. And then when I took it to the next document, I was able to see the patterns, see what I needed to dive into, what I needed to pull out. And then I did another round of dictation, and this time it was much more clear because I kind of knew where I was going. And since I had already spoken to myself earlier, I kind of had a rhythm as to what I was trying to say. And then I had a much more clearer document, and then I did it again. I took out my dictation device, and this time I looked at that second document like as if I was reading a script, and I redictated again. And I did this for another 2 times until everything was fine-combed, and then I went in and did the hard editing through my computer. You guys, it was a game changer. It was awesome. And it was something that I feel like was such a game changer for me because it was all of a sudden I could cut through all of the fat of the dictation process and say, you know what? This works. So at the end of it, I ended up doing 5 drafts, and one was essentially, so if I can kind of summarize each level, the first one was a brainstorming session, and it was me having no hold on my creative voice and letting her go wherever she wanted to go. The second one was more of I would actually say an outlining session, but because I had been so free, I wouldn't even consider outlining. But I think in a lot of cases, you would think of this as outlining. But I would take out that word vomit section and create it into a new section that had a lot more connections and was a lot more coherent. And then from there, I redictated. And again, I had no holding back on what I wanted to say, but because I knew where I was going, it was able to be a lot more, I say like has a lot more connection, but it was much more formatted. There was structure to it, but the words themselves were probably choppy because I was simply speaking. Then by the third one, I already had what would be a rough script, and then I redictated that so that it was a much cleaner script. And then I had a fourth one, and I think I had a fourth one because, and this was already a couple months ago, but I had a fourth one because the third one was very close to what I wanted it to sound like, but it wasn't what I wanted it to look like. So there was still a lot of likes and ums, and you can tell, right? Because as I do this podcast, you know that I say a lot of like and and dude and so. And those words showed up in that essay, which obviously you don't want. You're doing a professional essay. So then that next version was much more intentional with me taking time to pause, taking time to think of exactly how I wanted that sentence to sound. And the cool thing is that I wasn't bogged down by not only do I have to make this sound good, but I also have to think of the story, because the story was already done. The story had been done in the first go around. So I was just focusing on words and the diction, syntax, things like that. Then the fifth version was actually me going into the computer without dictation, using the typing keyboard to clean up those things that I know need to be cleaned up and pass it through some edits and things like that. And so it was approximately 5 to 6 drafts, and it was so much fun because it was a lot faster. And I do love efficiency in this world of, especially if you live in the United States, we have this addiction to efficiency. So I don't want to encourage efficiency and quickness because it really does lead to, I would say, lower quality, but that's something I'm still struggling with. So if I get a pump of excitement because I'm efficient, I'm not going to ignore it. I'm like, oh yeah, I was efficient, but I'm also trying to be aware that, it's not always the best thing to do to be efficient, quality over quantity. So going back to the rounds of essays, it was faster. But more than that, I had a lot more excitement because things weren't getting boring. I was having fun trying to redo the words and trying to see where connections were because the dictation was allowing me to do that. And then, long story short, too late, I got in. I got into the internship program. They said that and actually it's kind of funny because they said that they had really liked my essay. They said it sounded really fresh. The voice was really clear, and they wanted to meet with me because I had to do an interview. They were excited to meet the person who wrote the essay. And I was like, this can't be a coincidence. It can't be, because my voice is literally inside that essay because it comes from my voice. I didn't touch it with my keyboard until much later. So my voice is very authentic. And especially when you go through dictation, there were a lot of hard parts I was talking about in my life in that essay. And I knew my voice changed. It went lower, softer, or got really stressed because these were emotions that I was feeling. So my words changed and my style changed. And I think it reflected really beautifully inside that essay. And I'm really proud of that essay as well. I have won other awards with my writing, but I feel the most proud with this one because it pushed me through my dictation process. It really broke through that mental barrier because, y'all, I'm still struggling, and I would say I'm struggling less, but before this essay, I was like, maybe dictation, it really isn't working. Maybe dictation is not going to be for me. Oh, how do I know the story actually works? I don't know what I'm doing. But because I was pushed to do this, oh, you guys, I'm like, okay, dictation works. This is awesome. I can't wait to share this. So, hey, I hope that helps. But if y'all have any more questions, feel free to contact me. I'm here for you guys, and I'm here to support you and to help you along your writer's journey. And one of the things I love about dictation is that it helps all kinds of writers kind of break through certain physical barriers as well. So y'all, if you are interested, jump in. Okay. So after this episode, we're going back to the NaNoWriMo episodes, and I hope that you like this. I hope that this was encouraging for you. I hope that this answered some questions regarding those who are really interested in dictation, but they don't know where to begin, or they're feeling like it might not work for them. So I hope that this inspires you because, I did it and you can do it. And you guys are beautiful, talented writers, and however you need to show up for your story, you can do it. All right. So in case you're wondering, what the heck is NaNoWriMo? For more information, go to www.nanowrimo.org. And if you need some writing help, I have 3 free writers toolkits at blackheartedstudios.com. That's www.blackheartedstudios.com, and click on resources for writers. That's a page in there. You can also email me at maciel@blackheartedstudios.com. That's MASSIEL at blackheartedstudios.com if you have any questions whatsoever. Y'all, I'm here for you. I'm so excited for your journey ahead. And I'm excited for all of you who are doing NaNoWriMo with me. So I'll see you on the other side. Hey there, writer. Thank you for listening to the How to Write a Book podcast with your host, Maciel Valenzuela. If you like the show, we'd be happy if you left a review. For more information on writing and the writer's life, go to www.themaciel.com. That's www.themassiel.com. We'll see you on the other side.